Welcome to The Approach Shot, the golf show that's more laughs than links, more stories than strokes, more guffaws than golfers. Here are the hosts of The Approach Shot, John Ashton and Neil Michaels.
Hey, it is us. It is the
It is
approach.
us.
Who's the guy with the phony British accent in the background there?
Hello, Governor.
We promise we won't be doing any of that for the rest of the hour. I am
You promised. I don't promise nothing.
Trust me, he promises.
Okay, all right.
I'm John Ashton. He's Neil Michaels, and he's trying to find himself. Hopefully, it'll show up eventually. Together, we're called The Approach Shot. Thanks for hanging out and listening. Got another great show for you, but before we get into it, I want to send our sympathies and all of our hopes that you're doing okay to the folks in about 78% of the country who for the past week have had some despicable weather and some problems related thereto.
I have a lot of friends and colleagues in that area, and we're sending our thoughts and prayers to you. It does sound like things are improving. So,
It does.
So that's good, yeah.
And Neil, I know you can't relate to this because you live in, one of those places where it's beautiful year round. If you've ever lived in a place like I live in Louisville, Kentucky, where you can experience the entire gamut of seasons in a week. Last Wednesday, we had 6 inches of snow, which is 5 and 9/10 inches more than we usually get. And it's been cold. And it's the snow's here and the icicles are here and it's like a winter wonderland and everyone's going, Wednesday, I have a tea time.
No, you don't.
We have a high of 64 this Wednesday, 7 days after the 6 inches of snow.
Bring your galoshes. I think it might be a little wet out there.
Yeah, it'll probably be cart path only, but hey.
It's still golf and it's still outside. You're exactly right. So last night we're in the house getting things done and my wife comes back from work and says, how does takeout sound tonight? And we went and had Chinese food. I open the fortune cookie and I'm not kidding you. It says, the man who takes up golf to get his mind off work soon takes up work to get his mind off golf. And I thought, that was actually my plan for retirement. So,
Truer words were never spoken.
Never spoken.
We've got a guy who's been talking about golf for the last 30 plus years on the show today. His name is Bob Harig. He is a writer for ESPN.com and also is on SportsCenter all the time whenever they have anybody on they want to talk about golf with. He is one of those guys that you see him and you go, oh, I know that guy.
That guy.
And you've read his stuff. He's been around for years covering golf. And a comedian named Martin Montana. I don't know if he's any relation to Hannah Montana or not. We forgot to ask him.
We can certainly hope not. But he is a funny, funny gentleman. He had us going, and he'll have you going as well.
So, if you have to go now and come back. We will be right back. We got The Approach Shot. Hang out with us.
This episode of The Approach Shot is sponsored by Blue Chew. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Well, now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed with BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Hey, this is Neil Michaels, and for a limited time, listeners of The Approach Shot visit BlueChew.com, and you'll get your first order for free when you use our special promo code APPROACH. Just pay the $5 shipping. You heard right, your first order of Blue Chew chewables is free. Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance, and honestly, which of us couldn't use a little boost sometime? Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. They're made in the USA, and Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, so they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Hey, remember, for listeners of The Approach Shot, visit BlueChew.com and get your first order for free when you use our special promo code APPROACH. Again, that's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code APPROACH to try it for free.
Hey, thank y'all for hanging out and coming back. We are The Approach Shot. I am John Ashton. He is Neil Michaels, and he is going to introduce the third and probably best member of the group right now.
No question about it. He's the senior golf writer for ESPN.com, but if you watch ESPN as religiously as most of us do, you've probably also seen him on SportsCenter. He contributes when there is golf news, and these days there seems to be a lot of it. He's covered the game for over 30 years, so that makes him an old guy like us. Please welcome Bob Harig to the stage. Bob, go.
Hey, thanks for having me. You're right, old guy. Wear that badge with pride.
Definitely. A lot of people I know look at golf writers and golf commentators in general and go, what a cushy gig. How do you get a gig like that? But you've been involved in golf forever. I mean, you started out life as a caddy.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, absolutely. Great exposure to golf. And unfortunately, there's not enough of that anymore.
Yeah.
Caddy programs aren't as prevalent as they used to be. Although where I grew up in the Midwest, they still are pretty big. And the Evans Scholarship Program is getting bigger and better, even despite all the issues that we're facing today. It's expensive to take a caddy. It's a revenue drain for a club.
Mm-hmm.
Carts make them a lot of money. But, I think you run into people who start in caddying. They learn the game kind of from the ground up. You learn the rules that way.
Mm-hmm.
You learn the etiquette. And, if you're lucky enough to caddy at a place that lets you play, you learn to play too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how that all went down for me and how that sort of shaped me as I grew up and then end up sort of having a career writing about golf.
Right. That whole Evans Scholarship Program is a fantastic program in general. In specific, do you go to Indiana University?
I did, correct.
Right. My wife graduated from Indiana.
Great university golf course there.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice.
It is beautiful.
Yep.
So, Bob, you were a caddy and you started at 12 years old and now you're a writer. Was there a piece in between where you wanted to be a golfer professionally or did you just learn enough as a caddy that you thought, no thanks?
Oh, man, if you ever saw me play, you'd know that was never, ever, ever any kind of – you couldn't even dream about it. It's funny, I didn't even play high school golf or anything like that. So I just was a recreational golfer and actually kind of for a little while throughout college didn't play all that much. And then when I moved to Florida, I kind of got back into it again and I've played more golf, since the start of the pandemic, probably than I've played in the last 3 years combined. And I'm not exactly saying that it's helping my game a whole lot. It's funny. The more you play, the worse you get sometimes, but it's
usually
fun.
The first round of the year is usually the best and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. No expectations is a great thing.
Yeah. And then you relearn all your bad habits and,
right.
And that's it. One thing I want to talk about too is the caddy situation. And what it can do, because you were saying how it helped you get into college with the Evans program and things like that. But you're familiar with the story of the East Lake Country Club in Atlanta.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Fantastic. Yep. I mean, they resurrected that from, it had fallen into disrepair. It's the course that Bobby Jones learned to play golf at and everything, for those who aren't aware. But when the new owners took over, it was not in the best of neighborhoods in Atlanta. But rather than, quote unquote, gentrifying the neighborhood, what they did is they went to the kids in the neighborhood and said, hey, if you want to play here, come work here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on in. And the kids caddied and the kids, did the greenskeeping and the grounds work and all that stuff. And after a few years, you could measure the crime rate in the neighborhood went down. The graduation rate in the neighborhood went up.
Right.
And it's basically all attributable to golf.
Yeah. I mean, golf's pretty cool that way. I mean, it's, it's not just a place to play. There's a place to learn and to work. And, it doesn't have to be caddying. It could be cleaning the carts. It could be picking up range balls. Yep. It could be maintaining the course. It could be a valet guy at the, if they have to have their cars parked.
Right.
It could be in the locker room. It could be in the pro shop. There's a lot of little gigs associated with golf. And then, the great thing is if those afford you the opportunity to play, because golf's expensive, equipment, golf balls, greens fees. If that gives you an avenue to the driving range or to a course, or even if it's a par 3 course, that's kind of a step in the right direction. And I think that's what some of the programs that, you just mentioned one, but some of the programs that are out there, like the First Tee, other things like that, it exposes you to the game and hopefully gives you an avenue to get better at it and enjoy it and want to keep pursuing it.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is the other side of that too. We were just kidding about us getting to be old guys, but a lot of retirees will go live on a golf course. And my uncle, who used to be a DC cop, retired in Myrtle Beach, and he became a ranger for the course that he lived on. The deal was, if you're going to be a ranger and you're going to be out here at 6 o'clock in the morning, when 2 o'clock rolls around and things are starting to wind down a bit, you can go out there and play. And that was kind of the part of the compensation was you play free golf, but you get out here and you help move things along and you keep this a friendly course. Yeah,
exactly. When I used to caddy, we had Mondays. We could tee off at 7:30 and play till about 3. We try to fit in as many holes as we could.
Right.
And having the access is the key. I think for a lot of people, you start playing golf a little bit, you find a little success and you get the bug. But you need to have that entry point. And if the first entry point is, well, hey, look, you got to buy a bunch of used clubs, golf balls, spend $150, $200 just to get to the course. And now it's $50 to play or more. And if you don't go out there and have a good time, now you've spent all that money and you start thinking, well, now I'm going to have to keep spending money. It can be a detriment. Mm-hmm. So, finding ways for people to get exposed without that great expense up front. Now it gives you an incentive to try to earn the money to play because you want to.
You've been covering golf, as we said, for 30 plus years. What do you think has changed, both good and bad, with the game?
Well, I think what's changed for the better is that, I think golf is viewed more as an athletic pursuit. It used to be ridiculed. The cool guys don't play golf. You don't have to be an athlete to be a golfer. Those sorts of things. I think that is certainly, obviously, at the top levels, we have seen that, it's pretty rare. I mean, certainly there are guys who aren't as athletic as others. I'm not sure Patrick Reed is the most athletic looking guy, but I mean, he certainly does do things to take care of himself. Mm-hmm. And obviously you got the Dustin Johnsons and Brooks Koepka, Tiger. These guys obviously do their best to stay in good shape. And I think that's attracted more people to golf. I think that's attracted athletes to golf. Probably the negative side would be that the distance, the disparity. I mean, maybe this is good. I don't know. The average guy really cannot relate to what they do. And the talk in the game about the ball going too far, equipment being too good, that's really the case for the elite of the elite. Mm-hmm. The rest of us are aided by that stuff, but it doesn't close the gap much.
No.
Somebody who can hit it out there 250 is still doing a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. That is like the shortest of the short in pro golf. In fact, it gets you nowhere. 300 yards is considered, kind of okay. I'm not sure how we got there. I mean, part of it is due to it's due to athletic people matching up their skills with equipment. But when 50 plus golfers are hitting it as far as they were when they were 30, that to me suggests it's not just your physical well-being, because it's just inevitable. You're going to lose skill as you get older.
Yeah.
And yet guys are hitting it as far as they ever have. And this is why we have this equipment debate. Some of that has taken some of the ingenuity and shot making out of the game that others long for. And frankly, I don't know what the answer is. I don't think it's just easy to say, well, we're going to roll back equipment. If you said, oh, let's take the ball back 10%, well, do we really want somebody who hits at 300 to only be able to hit at 270? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think we want that either. So it's really a hard issue.
Yeah. And if they build golf courses for the pros, then it becomes almost impossible for an amateur to even have fun. I know the Pete Dye course up here at the French Lick. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to play that. Tough course.
Right.
In fact, they had the senior PGA, and we were there for the first round, and Rocco Mediate walked off the 18th green. He was 4 over. And they asked him how he felt about the course. And he said, normally I love Pete Dye courses, but Pete was a little angry the day he designed this one.
Yeah.
You know? But again, going back to what you said, I mean, there'd been that argument about can anything you can do while drinking beer actually be called a sport? You know?
Right, exactly.